And we are live with another episode of Comic Talk. It's that show brought to you by The Key, where we talk about this week's new comic book releases. I'm your host, Dimithri Perera. We're talking about Marvel. We're talking about DC. We're talking about Image and all the other publishers, everything that we read this week. If you're watching us live on twitch.tv/The Keeg Show or youtube.com/The Keeg Show, you can see me, you can see our guests, you can see our comic covers that will be displaying the artwork of all the comics that we read this week. But if you're not watching us live, you're probably listening to the podcast, wherever you get your podcast from. And let me introduce our guests for today. First, we got Maggie, aka Vegan Superkick. Maggie, how's it going?
It's going. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I didn't get to read as many comics as I wanted to. But that's okay, it's weird, you won't guess what comics I didn't read this week, but I didn't read some really key comics this week. Shout out to Curly Insane Guy over there in our Twitch chat saying gonna have to catch the VOD, but wanted to pop in and wish y'all a great comic talk. Thank you, Curly Insane Guy.
Thank you, Curly Insane Guy.
Thanks, friend.
But yes, we'll go over what we read and what we didn't read, I guess, in a little bit. But Maggie, always great to have you.
It's always good to be here.
I was also looking at past episodes, and I'm like, you two always, you two tend to be on very, be on the same episode a lot of the time. I would say like 50% of the time.
Third episode together, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But in recent
we went
months,
from like,
right?
Yeah. We went from like never podcasting together to like now we're on 3 episodes.
Yeah. Who's that voice? If you're listening to the podcast, you don't know who that voice is. That's Ambrosha, aka Comics and Cupcakes.
Hi.
How's it going?
It's going good. It's going well. Yeah.
You are correct that you guys weren't on episodes at all, and then now every other month is like an episode with both of you.
So. Yeah, I requested today because of what was coming out, and Dimithri was like, "Oh, that's Ambrosia's episode," and I was like, "Yeah,
it's meant to be."
Is it?
It was.
Is it completely random, or do you guys pick your weeks that you want to be on the episode based off the comics that come out that week, and you guys it just so happens to match up 50% of the time?
That's what I do. I can't speak for Ambrosia, but when you ask me when I want to come in, I look ahead and see, when I tell you, oh, let me check. I'm not checking my schedule. I'm checking to see what books come out.
Right.
Because sometimes I'll buy one book and that's not worth talking about, for an hour and a half. So
yeah.
I love that. I will be honest. I do not look at all what is coming out. Mine is strictly based off of my schedule.
Yeah.
I like that though.
So but I love how pre-planned you are, because I'm not.
Well, I feel like you read more books than me though. So you always have more variety to choose from. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I could see that.
Yeah.
I'm stuck being on every episode, so
I was thinking about that today. I feel like because when we know that we have comic talk, we read more on Wednesdays and Thursdays than I typically would on an every other week, and I'm just like, dang, Dimithri does this all the time.
Yeah, you need a co-host.
I do need a co-host, but also here's the thing, and this is a little behind the scenes. The Wizard of Oz, the peek behind the green curtain, is that streaming takes some sort of tech, right? And I would love to take a week off, but have Comic Talk keep going to be consistent. And sure, I could have a co-host, but I'd rather have a co-host to take over when I'm not here. So last week, I had a work trip that I had, so we didn't have Comic Talk last week. If you two read any comics last week, we could shout those out. But we didn't cover anything. And I was thinking to myself, I read comics last week, not as much, but I read some. I could have done a Zoom, a one-person kind of recording, a podcast episode with just me. Mm-hmm. I was planning on it. I was like, oh, maybe that could keep the consistency. and then I just got busy and I didn't do it. So, you know, I'd like to keep the consistency, but also nobody can like, you'd have to like be able to live stream,
Yeah.
you know, and like live stream the show.
I feel like anyone in the comic community who has that kind of technology already has their own like podcast or stream.
Right.
So, yeah.
You know, it is what it is.
There's nothing wrong with it. Everybody should be talking about comics, but yeah.
The pressure that I put on myself to read all the comics and to do the podcast and whatever, I'm just consistently letting myself down. And the question is that can I do it in a healthy way? I don't know. Let's talk about this. This will be a therapy episode.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I don't think you should like for one be hard on yourself because you are one of like the most consistent people I've ever met when it comes to like podcasting.
Mhm.
I think you have high standards for yourself.
Yeah.
And when you don't reach everything, then you feel like you're letting yourself down. But I want you to know that as listeners and as your peeps, you do not let any of us down.
Thanks. I appreciate that. I try to keep my standards high because I'm like counting my misses and not my hits, you know? But
I get it.
I'm going to be on my first panel, first con panel at LA Comic-Con, for Podcasting 101. So
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's for anyone in LA that wants to come out to LA Comic-Con October 6th. Sunday, October 6th, 2:30 p.m. I think is my panel. I'm going to be a panelist on that with a couple of other really cool podcasters. And like, I don't know. I mean, that part's cool, but also like the fact that I podcast and have high standards, but I'm like slowly dying inside. I'll ask the other panelists whether that's normal or not, you know?
I feel like it's normal. I feel like I'm not a podcaster, but I don't know. I feel like it's normal.
Don't be. That'll be my recommendation for
Just
Podcast 101 on the panel. They'll be like, do you have any tips for anyone wanting to get into podcasting?
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
No.
Let me amend that. It's not don't be on podcasts. Be on podcasts. Be on other people's podcasts because it's way easier.
Right.
Don't run your own.
Yeah. Find a friend who can have their own podcast and take all the burden and then like jump on their podcast and like makes it easier, you know?
I like that.
You know, I wish. But speaking of friends who are jumping on podcasts, welcome to Comic Talk, both of you. If anyone's out there watching or listening, let us know you're out there. Like, comment, follow, whatever. Curly Insane Guy said hi. You know, let us know you're out there and let us know you're listening. Write a review because, you know, we need podcast reviews on podcast platforms. So wherever you guys are listening to us, write a review.
Because podcasting is hard, as you just heard.
It's a lot. I don't know. Consistency is key. That's what they say, right?
Mm-hmm.
Consistency is key. It's hard to be consistent in life, just in general, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but we try to make it work.
Can I say something though, like before we jump into the comics?
Yeah.
The way that you have been doing clips of the podcast on like your TikTok, I love that. Not because I've been on it, but because like it gives people an idea of what your podcast is about and like the kind of conversations that are had. You know what I mean? Like it's like a little trailer, a little preview for your podcast. So I think you should keep doing that.
Agreed.
First thing, thanks for liking and enjoying those clips. Second, it's so much fucking work. People don't realize
Is it?
It is a lot. Like that's why I don't do that many. Is like it takes a lot. I gotta like go in, do every like just it's so much work and like mental energy. So thanks for pointing out that like I should put more. Yeah, I should put more time and effort into.
Well, then I take it back.
Don't take it back.
Don't do that anymore.
Don't take it back. It's nice to have that appreciated, but that does just push me to be like, oh, well, I guess I have to put more effort into that then. So you know,
Well,
Also, if you already have a TikTok presence, don't start a podcast. That's what I would also say. If you have a big presence on any other social media platform, don't pick up podcasting. Like,
interesting. Why?
because that's
Just the
already a thing, you know? Like, content
Yeah.
creation's already a thing. Podcasting is like its own set of content creation. So, like,
Yeah, that's a
you know,
good way to put it.
yeah,
I
can
say,
see
as
that.
I've
So-
never
it's a lot.
started a podcast in my life, but
Yeah.
yeah.
But, you know, think about it that way. Anyway, what did you guys read this week?
I'll go first because my list is probably the shortest one. I read Deadpool issue 6, Dazzler issue 1,
Mm-hmm.
and The Moon is Following Us issue 1. That's all I got to this week.
All right, very nice, very nice.
Yeah.
Those are 3 solid ones, though.
They
Yeah.
were. They were.
Ambrosia, what'd you read?
So my list was super ambitious this week, but I didn't get to everything. So what I did read was Venom War Lethal Protectors, issue number 1, Ultimate X-Men issue number 7, X-Men issue number 4, Dazzler issue number 1, Spider-Man Black Suit and Blood issue number 2, Spider Society issue number 2, and Venom War Venomous issue number 2. And if I squeak or if it sounds like I'm going through puberty, I have a cold. And so sorry in advance.
You're going through puberty? Got it.
I am.
Again.
Okay. So what I read, and again, you guys won't guess what I didn't read. It was on my list. A bunch of comics that were on my list and I didn't get to because I didn't get to read that much this week. But the ones that I read this week: Batman Superman World's Finest number 31, Deadpool number 6, the Power Fantasy number 2 from Image Comics,
I forgot to get there.
Superman 18, Ultimate X-Men number 7, which also, for anyone keeping track of Comic Talk and what I've been saying the past couple months, that one's surprising, and I'll get to why. Then I read Avengers 18. I read Dark Knights of Steel All Winter number 3. And that's it. And I think the weird thing, the surprise is that I didn't read X-Men number 4, X Factor number 2, or Dazzler number 1.
Oh, really?
And yeah.
Your mutants hanging.
And I did read Ultimate X-Men number 7.
Yeah.
Which is also because I've been talking negatively about it because it hasn't been my cup of tea, but lately it's been picking up. So I kind of binged the ones that I've been behind on. And I caught 7 this week.
Oh.
But I didn't hit the actual X-Men titles that I normally do hit. That's super weird.
I'm so behind on the X titles. Like, I know that I said I was going to pull everything, and I have been, but I've been buying them and then just like stacking them on top of each other. I mean, like, gonna get to that. So,
Yeah.
I'm committed, but no, I didn't get to read most of the stuff that you didn't either.
Yeah.
X-Men 4 stuff.
I'll get to it. I've just been super busy and everything, and life gets in the way of hobbies. And like, I think what I want to reiterate to, like, I mean, you guys know, but like also just people out there who, you know, if you're listening to Comic Talk to try to like keep up with comics and whatever, like, you don't have to be so overwhelmed by comics. Like, you're a reader. Like, if you have a podcast, sure, like, be overwhelmed that you didn't read the things that you wanted to read. But like, if you're a reader, if you're passionate about comics and whatnot, like, skip a few issues and come back to it. Like, binge it later, buy it later. You don't have any money this week, like, whatever. Like,
yeah, there's nothing
next
wrong.
time.
There's nothing wrong with like waiting to trade read something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Like, I dropped the ball on Transformers and bought like the first 2 issues, and then I just forgot to ask my shop to pull it. You know what I mean? And so it like time went by and I was like, crap. But they had the first volume in trade just like sitting on a shelf, and I was like, I'm gonna buy this. I'm gonna get caught up, and if I like it, then I'll jump back in at some point. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with waiting. You don't have to read stuff as it comes out. Like
No.
that's
Not at all.
a lot to ask.
I did a TikTok live for the first time in a long time, and like somebody said, "Where should I get started with comics?" And I'm like, "Well, that's a tough question." Okay,
Yeah.
but also like, do you want to feel it in your hands, or do you want to read it digitally? Do you want
Yeah.
it on time on that Wednesday, or do you want it 3 months later, or in like 6 months later, like in trade, right? Like, how up to date do you want to be? How do you want to feel it? Like,
How chronically online are you? Because like if you're gonna see it spoiled on a Thursday night, then maybe you need to be a single issue reader, you know what I mean?
Right. If you're afraid of those spoilers, maybe you want to like stay up to date, right? And then
Have you
also,
guys ever seen spoilers on comic books that like you wanted to read,
um,
but like haven't got to it?
mine's only worked in my favor, like certain like comicbook.com or like IGN or something, like some website will like post a thing and I'll see it on whatever website. But like it's only worked in my favor. Like somebody spoiled the end of Hellverine #1, and I was like, oh, now I'm gonna read Hellverine #1 because I didn't know that happens, and now I'm interested.
Yeah. I'm not really bothered when I see spoilers for comics because it's like I don't know. I feel like most stuff you're gonna be able to figure out, like unless there is like a massive twist, but like then just scroll past it if someone's like, oh, you know. But I've definitely seen stuff be talked about before I could read books, and I'm like, oh well, like I'm still gonna read it, you know.
Yeah.
So
I don't think I've had like any specific comic like spoiled for me. Not like the terms of like movies or anything that you would see like, oh no, don't get on the internet for that. Yeah. So sorry, I was just curious to know if a lot of things have been spoiled for you guys.
Yeah,
I think
not
it's
so much, you know. And the question is, do spoilers matter for comics? And like, there's only a couple key comics that I'm like, I don't want to talk about because I would rather people read it and live it like in the moment. DC versus Vampires was one of them. There's like a big thing that happens at the end of issue 6 because it's a 12 issue, like at least the first run was like 12 issues. And I don't like to spoil issue #6 of it.
I also feel like too, like I've never had anything intentionally spoiled for me on like a show like this. Like I feel like anytime we talk about something crazy that happens, we're all like in agreement of like if we're going to talk about it or not, and like give people who are listening enough time to like jump out if you don't want to hear it. Like,
right.
Yeah.
And that's just the way this show works. We got to talk about spoilers. But like, you know, sometimes we can personally opt out, like, and be like, I'm gonna get to it later tonight. I'd rather not hear about it. But let's talk about our picks of the week, and let's hit them. Anyone have a book that you really want to talk about? What's your pick of the week? Anyone want to start off?
My pick of the week was The Moon is Following Us.
What's the publisher on that one?
Image.
Okay.
Yep. It was written by Daniel Warren Johnson and Riley Rossmo.
Okay.
Yes. And they like did the art together. So the art like kind of transfers back and forth depending on which like perspective you're in, like which I think is really cool. And I am a big fan of Daniel Warren Johnson. I would read anything that he chose to tackle. You know, he could rewrite the phone book if he wanted to, and I'd be like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's just really good at pulling at the heartstrings and like getting an emotion out of you while you're reading something. Like he's so good at a first issue. Well, he's good at everything, like putting together a whole story, but he's so good at getting you hooked on the first issue, I guess is what I should say.
What's the premise of this book?
So this is about a couple, their parents, and They are the whole first issue, they're going through this like super crazy like fantasy world with like creatures and aliens and stuff coming after them. And they are trying to get to their daughter. They keep saying like they're trying to save Penny and like whatever we can do to get to her. And she's okay. She's alive and she's safe, but she is sleeping and she's been asleep for months. And they basically have to go through her dream world to find out like where she is mentally and like save her from this weird place that she's in. So
Okay.
it has like a nice little twist to it, but it's like really fast paced and like high anxiety. And obviously like as a parent myself, I'm like, whew, like I get it. So
Why is this book your pick of the week? Like, what makes it so special?
it's like I said, Daniel Warren Johnson is just really good at like digging until he finds that one emotion. Like I don't always read a comic and I'm like, ooh, like I had to take a beat. You know what I mean? Like I have to take a minute sometimes after I read his stories in particular. And I like that. I
Yeah.
like having to close an issue and being like, wow, like that was different and inventive and emotional, and I'm immediately hooked. You know what I mean? So that's why it's my pick of the week.
Okay.
What else does he write?
So he wrote Murder Falcon and
The
Do a
current
Power Wall.
Transformers.
He wrote the first, I think, 6 or 8 issues of the current Transformers. He wrote Wonder Woman Dead Earth and some other stuff, but I can't remember right now.
Yeah,
but
you said
yeah.
Do a Power Bomb. He did Beta Ray Bill, the
Oh, yeah.
miniseries for like. There's a lot of wrestling in his stuff, right?
He loves wrestling. But like Murder Falcon was another one that was like really emotional about like a man with like terminal illness, and like he basically found his own power through like through the power of music, if that makes sense. Like it's just really like in touch with like your soul and your spirit kind of thing. So yeah.
I mean, it's great cover art and everything. I just loaded up some extra covers. But like it looks good. Is it worth me picking up to like see if I like it?
I think so. I think you'll know by the first issue if you would want to keep reading it or not.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. There was a book that somebody on this show recommended me, and I can't remember it, but I gave it like 2 issues and I was like, it's not for me. I can't.
Well, you don't really do like a whole lot of indie. I wouldn't even get Midge indie really, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean,
it's not Marvel or DC.
It's not Marvel or DC. Like I love Marvel and DC, but I do indie stuff if it's recommended to me and I give it a shot, right? So like I read somebody on the show recommended Animal Pound by Boom Studios.
Tom King.
Tom King's Animal Pound, and it it was great. I liked it. I liked it a lot. But it was 5 issues and it ended really sad, and I was like, all right, cool. Like I'll probably buy it in hardcover and like keep it on my shelf, you know?
I never finished it. I think I bought the first 2 issues and just again one of those that I just didn't keep up with on the pull list. So it's good to know that it like stayed good.
I think it stays good, yeah.
Cool.
It has a disclaimer at the beginning of issue 5 talking about like real world. It's like any comparisons to fictional things, like because it's all about like politics and things like that, right? Like, but with these animals. It's based off of Animal Farm in a way. It's like a spin on Animal Farm.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. What I read was...
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
What issue came out this week for that one?
For which one?
The one that we were talking about.
Moon is falling.
Moon is falling.
Just the first issue.
It's issue 1. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't have anything to write on, so I'll just be using my little.
Your microphone's catching every little crinkle.
I'm so sorry.
It's all right.
Maybe Ricola. What is that?
Ricola?
Yeah, maybe we
Dracula?
should get them to be a sponsor.
Okay. Ricola. What was your pick of the week, Ambrosia?
I did Venom War Lethal Protectors.
That's
You were not surprised at all.
Such an Ambrosia choice.
Very on
I
brand.
know. I love Lethal Protectors. I love symbiotes. You hate symbiotes.
Yeah.
It's fine.
That's fine. We can
so
still be
I
friends. We
chose-
can agree to disagree.
Absolutely.
It's a matter of taste, you know?
Absolutely. And this is why comics is for everyone, because we all have different tastes.
Yeah.
But yes, so I chose Lethal Protectors. I love Lethal Protectors. I love symbiotes. I love everything that they bring, especially with Venom War. I'm excited that they brought this in because Venom War is obviously a ton of symbiotes. And so I was really glad to see Lethal Protectors come out. And if you are a Silver Sable fan, then make sure you check this one out because she is like the leader of her of the Wild Pack, which is the pack of little symbiotes.
Okay. Are you looking forward to the new Venom movie?
I don't know. I have mixed feelings.
Okay. All right.
I have a lot of mixed feelings, but I mean, I've enjoyed. I think when it comes to like the movies, especially Venom movies, because I love Venom and Carnage so much, I really have to separate it from the comics, and really kind of take it for face value. So when I look at it like that, I'm excited. But if I look at it knowing that I'm going to have a comparison, I'm not going to be excited. So if I just take it as face value and look at it at like two different entities, then I'm able to enjoy it much more.
Okay. All right. Just wondering, because you are a fan. Are you a fan of Venom War? Are you liking this crossover event?
I don't know. I'm really frustrated with like how. I mean, I'm going to continue reading them, but I mean, I feel like everyone's turning into symbiotes, and that's there's nothing really too different or exciting. I really hate what they're doing with like Eddie Brock and Dylan with this whole thing. It's just it's like, what was it, King and Black? I wish things were a little different in this, but it's interesting. So I'll continue.
Okay. All right.
So I'm like right in the middle. It's not my favorite. And I think things could have gone better, but we're here. So I'm going to take it for face value and enjoy the things that we have. So I've been enjoying seeing the symbiotes like Scream and some of those other characters that we don't get to see all the time.
Okay.
Oh yeah, we have Scream, Agony, Lasher, Flicker, Phage, Riot, all the OGs.
Okay. The OG symbiotes that I don't know, but that's fair.
Yeah.
My pick of the week was Batman Superman World's Finest 31. Now I know the image that I created for this episode had me holding up X Factor, but I didn't read X Factor. I just thought I was gonna like X Factor, but I didn't get to it. So but Batman Superman World's Finest 31 was really good. And like, I don't know, most Batman Superman World's Finest are just really good because this series has been really good, and it's written by Mark Waid. No longer is it art by Dan Mora. It's Adrian Gutierrez on art, and it's really good. And we can complain that Dan Mora is not doing the art anymore, but like Gutierrez is doing amazing work on this one. And like, it's funny because it's in Eclipso arc, and I don't like Eclipso. Like, I don't really care too much about the villain Eclipso, but the story is just really good. Like, I don't know. Mark Waid can make any dumb villain interesting.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. This one, it was just, it was really good. It takes place in the past. Like, all the Batman Superman World's Finest books take place in the past, but they affect the present day comics. So like there's this cool like link between them.
Okay.
But I like this one. I don't know. What can I say? It was good.
Good.
Yeah. Did we all read Deadpool number 6?
No,
No.
I was supposed to.
I read it.
I read it too.
Maggie read it. Did you like it? Are you liking this run?
I am liking this run. I think I missed like the last issue or the one before. I can't remember. But the good thing about Deadpool is he's just so I don't know if he's like that self-aware all the time or if Cody Ziegler is just like writing it so well, but like I feel like whatever I missed is not like it's fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's kind of explained to me, but I liked it. Did you?
Yeah. I mean, I like Cody Ziegler's writing because he's writing Miles
Yeah.
Morales Spider-Man. He's writing this.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And like Deadpool to me works best when he's written by like a smart, funny person. Because
Yes.
I like smart funny or poignant funny. I don't need. How do I put this? The Deadpool movies have like a ceiling to their comedy because like they can't be that good because they're never smart humor. And so like Deadpool to me when done right is like The Simpsons where there's like dumb jokes but there's also smart jokes and there's like layers of humor.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
like,
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Because it makes him I don't know, like it makes him a more interesting character if he has like intellectual humor.
Yeah.
You know, because
Yeah.
it's just like what he does and like how he is. Like he should be funny, but also like smart enough to back it up,
Right.
kind of thing. So yeah. Do you read, I feel like we talked about this last time we talked about Deadpool. Do you read him in Ryan Reynolds' voice?
No.
Oh, I do.
I don't do that anymore. Like,
No?
or not anymore. I don't think I've ever done it, mostly because, like, in my head, Deadpool in the movies is different than Deadpool in the comics. And, like, I don't want frat boy humor Deadpool, which is kind of what he is in the movies.
Yeah.
I didn't
No, I
get,
just mean like that's just what he sounds like. You know what I mean? I hear his voice when I read him. But I also when I
don't
read
know.
Princess's voice, I read her voice in like Scooby-Doo talk. You know what I mean?
I definitely read Deadpool with Ryan Reynolds in my head.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're not alone there.
Thank you.
I don't want to disrespect Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool, but I also don't think that it's the pinnacle of Deadpool.
I get that.
You know?
Yeah.
I just want more. Like, I always like, I don't know. I have standards, I guess.
Well, and so that being said, this is a great comic book run if like the movies and stuff aren't for you. Like this is really I love this. And this is my first pass at like reading Deadpool comics. You know what I mean?
I would say, did you not read the Alyssa Wong run that was right before it?
You suggested that I did, and I've kind of been looking for it like every time I go to my comic shop, but I never really find it. I found like issues here and there.
They're in trade. They're in trade now. So
I know I need to see if they have those.
Yeah. If you like the style of this is like a semi-sequel. Like even though it's a different writer, it brings back Princess. And like Princess started off in Alyssa Wong's run and is now in Cody Ziegler's run. So if you like smarter, like, but still funny. Like it's not smart person humor. That's not Deadpool. But like
it's like witty.
Yeah, it's witty.
That's probably the word for it.
Yeah. You know?
But I don't want to. Here's the deal. Marvel spoiled all of this for me, but I don't want to spoil it for Ambrosia. So.
Oh, what did they spoil? What part did they spoil?
The whole thing. Everything that's going on in this book right now.
Really?
Yeah. Like weeks ago, they were like, "Oh, in one issue, something's gonna happen," and we're like, "Oh, okay."
Oh, interesting.
I get what you mean. Okay. I was like, what are you talking about?
Okay.
Well, I heard, like, I know he's gonna die soon, right? So, like,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though.
Yeah.
Like they didn't have to tell us that. Talking about spoilers, like Marvel.
but that's the thing about comics, though. Like, comics will, like, it's really hard to keep a tight lid on things because they have to, like, sell them to the retailers 6 months in advance. So you'll get, like, who didn't see the Death of Wolverine miniseries coming out? Like, you would have known because they would have been like, hey, comic book shops, like, you got to buy Death of Wolverine #1 in 6 months.
I guess that's true.
It's, you know?
But yeah, you know.
Yeah.
I just assume everyone is going to die in comics.
I was like, in life?
I mean, everyone does die in life, but in
Oh,
comics,
yeah.
everyone, sorry, not to, okay. Anyways, but yeah, so I have learned like my expectations of like, well, they're going to die. It's fine.
Yeah.
Because they're going to reboot it here soon anyways.
Right.
He'll come back to life. It's Deadpool. Like, he dies, he'll die,
absolutely.
and then he'll come back, and it'll be fine. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
So anyway, Deadpool #6. All right. Anything like what other big ones do you guys want to talk about? Like, what are you dying to talk about from this week? Also, did you guys have anything big from last week that stood out to you? I caught up with Transformers, and that came out last week. So I caught up. It's fun. The
I
Transformers.
didn't make it to my shop last week, so I couldn't tell you what in my pile actually came out last week versus, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I literally did that last night. I had to separate, like, I had to have like my list of what came out this week and last week because I didn't make it last week.
Yeah.
So I feel you there.
My comic shop is like 45 minutes away from me, so
Oh
I
my
really
God.
only go like once a month. I try to go more, but it's hard.
Yeah.
So
I have no excuse because my comic shop is less than a block away from where I work.
that's the dream.
Like typically I just walk there.
That is the dream. So no, I don't have anything to contribute regarding last week.
I think last week I don't know. But I know that like Star Wars, or I think it was Darth Vader issue #50 that came out.
That came out
and
this
I
week.
really no, sorry. Then Star Wars issue #50 came out. And I really want to get caught up on those ones because apparently this is the grand finale. So we'll see what that means.
Shout out to Splash Page Comics that's on our YouTube chat saying hello, YouTubians. So
Hello.
Hi, friends.
Paige.
a lot of good books came out last week, and I don't want to even talk about them, but things that stood out to me, yeah, Transformers 12, Fantastic Four 25, Wolverine #1, DC Vampires versus DC versus Vampires World War V #2, Batman 89 Echoes 4, Avengers Assemble #1. A lot of good books came out last week. Sorry we didn't have an episode.
I have a question about this week, Dimitri, that I think you can answer.
Yeah.
You said you read Superman 18.
Yeah.
Is this current? I gave up on it like a long time ago, and I think I canceled it from my pool. But like, is it still good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have done that, is what you're saying.
There was what happened right before this was the House of Brainiac, and like that wasn't that interesting. It was kind of
that's like when I
okay.
gave up on it. Like whenever that annual came out.
Yeah, House of Brainiac, that whole like thing that was like 6 issues or whatever. It was like whatever. I read it, but like you might not be a Brainiac fan. I'm not really a Brainiac fan. Like I like Brainiac in certain doses and ways, but like right now it ties in with Absolute Power, and I think that like the Absolute Power tie-ins have been remarkably good, I would say. I mean, there are some that aren't, but like for the most part, like yeah. So right now, Superman, what's cool about this issue, Superman 18, I mean, I might as well just, who read it? I read it. Ambrosia, did you read it?
No.
Okay.
It's all you.
Okay. So Superman 18, I'll just talk about it real quick. The last couple issues, he's been teamed up with Zatanna. So the Absolute Power tie-in, or the Absolute Power crossover event, like, has been really good that they've been sending heroes on different missions, and those missions are seen in their individual titles. So like in Absolute Power, the miniseries, they're like, Superman, Zatanna, I need you to go to X, Y, and Z and do this thing. So like we see that in, I think, Superman 16, 17, and now 18.
Okay.
So, which is what I think is also interesting is like you never see Superman team up with Zatanna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I kind of like, I feel like Absolute Power is when I kind of fell off because I didn't want to read a bunch of tie-ins and stuff. And like
Yeah.
my guys pulled Super Sun for me.
Yeah. That's a one shot. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because I haven't read it because I don't really know what is going on right now. But I mean, like I'll read it, but
I mean, that Superman, Jonathan Kent, in that issue, he merges with, basically he gets taken over by the Brainiac Queen, and that was like an issue or two of Absolute Power, and so I think that one shot has to do with him having been taken over and being set free. Spoiler
okay.
alert, you know? So
I gotcha.
yeah. I didn't read that one shot though, but like that's I think what it was about.
I just figured I would ask about Superman because I feel as a Superman fan a little guilty that I stopped reading it, but like at this point I have like 8 or 9 issues to read before I'm caught up. So like I have to stop buying this.
Yeah. I would say read the trade for House of Brainiac because then you can like flip ahead if you want to.
That's fair.
You know?
Yeah.
Ambrosia, what else do you read?
I read Spider Society, which is, Enter the Spider-Verses.
Yeah.
I feel like that they are working towards, again, Edge of Spider-Verse, which I loved the Edge of Spider-Verse. I was so disappointed when I saw the movie Spider-Verse because I thought it was going to have like some similarities, and I was like, nope.
You don't like the Spider-Verse movies?
Okay, listen. I walked in thinking I was getting the comic, like more of the comic book, and I was like, this isn't at all what I was expecting. But then like when I went back and I rewatched it for what it was, I loved it.
Yeah, it's different, but like,
yes, I didn't watch any of the previews, or I went in blindsided. And I shouldn't have done that. So I've learned. But no, and so I really like what they're doing with this comic. Miguel O'Hara isn't my favorite. Spider-Man 2099.
I don't like him. I don't like 2099. I don't like Marvel 2099.
It's not my favorite.
Yeah.
But surprisingly, I really enjoy him in this.
Okay.
In this series. I mean, so far we're only on issue 2. But I've really enjoyed like the team that he has. We have who else is in here? Oh,
Jessica Drew,
Spider-Woman.
Yeah.
No,
she's not. Jessica
yes,
Drew?
you do. Sorry. Yeah,
she's an alternate, like a variant. Jessica Drew. Yeah, with the motorcycle. Yeah.
Yep. Spider-Punk, Spider-Cat, Weapon 8. And so it's just it's. I don't know. I will say that the art isn't my favorite. But I'm excited to see where they go with this. Because I've enjoyed the Spider-Verse. And so it's and I feel like if people enjoyed the movie Into the Spider-Verse, they would also enjoy this, but without having Miles Morales, because he's not in here. But if you are ever interested in like exploring more of the Spider-Verse aspect of it, this would be really cool for some of those people.
Okay. Cool. All right. Dazzler #1, I think, is Maggie's book. I didn't get to read it, and I wanted to. That main cover by Terry Dodson looks really great and would be an awesome poster.
Mm-hmm. This had really good variants. I got 2 because I just.
Oh, did you?
Which ones did you get? You want to? You got them in
Let's do it.
reaching distance?
Yeah, 100%. I got, I don't know who did this one. I got the foil.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Yeah, isn't that cute?
Yeah.
I got that one, and then I got this one as well. Let's
Oh.
just
that's
get it in
cute.
the box. Yeah, couldn't choose, so I bought them both.
I
love it.
yeah.
I thought it was fun. Ambrosha, you read this too, right?
I did, and I was
you did.
really.
Okay.
I did. When I went to go pick up my books yesterday, they were surprised that I kept it in my haul because they said a lot of people have been taking it out, and not a lot of people have picked up this issue. And
I'm gonna let you guys talk about this, and I'll be right back. But talk about this one because I'm gonna read it. So even if you say spoilers, I won't hear you. So you know.
So I was really sad to see that they took this out, or to find out that a lot of people weren't reading it. My hypothesis was that I feel like it's geared towards like, not, I don't know, women, but also like it's for everyone. And Dazzler should get the same amount of read time that all the other mutants get.
I agree. I feel like she's a really cool, interesting character. Do you think that people are dropping it because there was so much speculation around Taylor Swift becoming her character in the MCU that like maybe they realized it wouldn't be as hot of a book?
I don't know. I thought about that even when reading it. Like I do feel like some like correlation of like the things that like during her performances and everything, like it is very like Taylor Swift-esque.
Yeah, I thought that so too.
And so like after reading this, I was like, oh, I definitely see why people like would make that comparison and would want her to play that role. And so I definitely could see that because I feel like and I think we see that a lot with the NFL, how guys immediately are like, oh, we don't want anything to do with the Chiefs because Taylor Swift, or like how upset they got with her for being at like football games and everything. Yes, for existing. And so I think I definitely could see like why people are like, oh, we don't want this, which made me so sad. So I was talking to my comic peeps about it, and like this was such a fun like issue. Like it doesn't necessarily like tie in to everything, no, but like honestly, like we have a Dazzler. I don't know. I'm always going to read Dazzler, and I just found this incredibly fun.
Yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun too. I didn't expect, big emotions or like big adventure out of it. So like her going on tour with some other mutants like in her crew, like I think that's fun. I'm into that.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if people, because like that rumor was so big that people probably were like, great, I'm gonna get this Dazzler book and it's gonna be $100 like the first week it comes out. You know what I mean? And then people showed up and people are like, well, I don't want that book anymore. So
yeah,
I don't know. But yeah, I thought it was fun. Is it a mini series? Is it like a
I don't know. Maybe Dimithri could tell us because they are doing. I hope not. I would continue if this continues. I would definitely continue reading it. Just because like we see so much, and I think that's what is so cool about the X-Men is that stuff that is going on in the X-Men we see in our world today of just like people being judged because they are different. And so I enjoy reading these because they talk about today's problems in a different context. And so I hope that they continue.
I felt a lot of parallels between like what she was saying and like the kind of message behind a lot of this first issue. There's a lot of parallels there between like the queer community, you know what I mean, and like real time. So I think that's really interesting, and that's definitely something that draws me to it.
No, and even like I feel like also like between Taylor Swift and Chapel Road, I also could see like Chapel be Dazzler.
What are we talking about? Are we talking about what I wish I was listening in on? Are you saying like what real world pop star is like Dazzler's career? Are we talking like in universe or who could play her?
Kind of. We were talking about like how this first issue of Dazzler really like mirrored a lot of messaging around like conversations that we see happening about real pop stars.
Yeah.
And you know, that parasocial relationship that people have developed with some of them, as well as like the messaging. Because this book is clearly like she sings a song called I'm Out and Proud. So like there's your queer metaphor, allegory, whatever you want to call it. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely read it. I think it's fun.
Yeah, we were asking if we thought that this was going to be like a one shot or if it was going to be a miniseries.
A one shot or an ongoing?
Yeah, that was our question.
Oh, okay.
I think I'm gonna look it up because I feel like it was like a 4 or 5 issue. Let me see.
Well, what the companies do now is like they don't always say it's a miniseries. They kind of wait for sales and like acclaim to happen or not, and then they're like, okay, we're gonna end it after issue 6 then, or keep it going, like Poison Ivy.
Yeah,
that's true.
That's still going. I think it just started off supposed to be a 6-issue miniseries.
Yeah, now it's on issue 25, which is I'm so happy. So happy for that comic.
Mm-hmm.
I forever will have 10 toes down for the Poison Ivy Willow Wilson run. I love that series so much.
It is. It's super good.
Yeah, but we hope that they continue the series. I hope at least. I enjoyed it.
Okay.
Me too. More comics for girls.
Oh, absolutely. And I think so many people, and again, it's all about trying to get people into comics and finding that comic to connect with them. And I think like Dazzler could be one of those comics that people are able to connect with, and then they are introduced to the whole mutant society and into the X-Men world.
Yeah, like I think that now that we've had this conversation, I'm inspired to be like, hello to all my mutual Swifties in the Swiftie to read this book because it's about a pop star.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, people always compare. At least recently, have compared Dazzler to Taylor Swift, but Dazzler in universe, she started off as a pop star, and then she became a superhero, and then she's had like resurgence, like like tours and whatnot. I don't know whether she's Taylor Swift. I feel like she's way more niche. Like, I feel like she's more Lady Gaga, or if Chapel Roan had a career 15 years ago and then came back,
Yeah. I think people just say that because she kind of looks like Taylor Swift, which is fine because like I see the, also I'm a Swiftie, so like.
Yeah, and I mean, like you're telling me that like the costume change at the end isn't like her
that was
bad
the reputation
fun.
that was the reputation too from the Eras tour.
Yes.
Serious. Like I saw you. I know what you were doing.
So I mean I saw that. I was like, oh,
Ambrosia, are you a Swiftie?
Yes.
Oh.
Like, okay, am I a diehard Swiftie? Like where I would pay thousands of dollars? No. But do I enjoy Taylor Swift?
I enjoy Taylor Swift. I wouldn't call myself a Swiftie because I don't know the names of everything. I'm not all in on the lore, but I saw her Eras tour. I saw her in Vegas. So
that's amazing.
I went to that one.
Oh, good. Yeah, no, that's fabulous. No, I always say that I listen to pop punk, metal, and Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We just closer.
What'd you say?
So we just became closer.
I know. See,
we should do a comic talk. Taylor Swift. Like we should go to one of her concerts.
You would yes.
As comic talk crew,
Find the tickets because I've been trying.
I know.
One day.
Yeah.
What else? Oh, I wanted to talk about power fantasy because somebody on this show brought it up, and who was it? I forget. It might have been Drew. I think Drew might have brought up power fantasy, and it's a good series, but I feel like this issue is more laying the groundwork. Like the first issue was the hook, and then this is like, here's a little bit more context, but let's still lay the groundwork. But it is like if the real world historically had superpowered people, but there's only a few of them, so it's almost like how it's like each country has a WMD, so nobody fires at it at each other. It's about like the politics and the delicate balance of superpowered individuals across the globe. It's kind of what it is.
Yeah.
It's
I read the
good.
first issue. I really liked it, so
The
I made
second
that
issue is
maybe
a little
a
bit
trade
different.
read for me.
Yeah. Because I mean, if somebody spoils issue 1 or issue 2, like whatever, like it might be worth, but like splurge a little, get in the hardcover, you know?
Yeah. But I think it's an interesting concept for sure.
Yeah.
I think it's fun, exciting. So definitely a good pick.
Yeah. Ambrosia, did you read Ultimate X-Men 7?
I did, and I would love to hear what your take is because you said that you have you got caught up.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yes.
Like I didn't like this series because I didn't feel it was for me, because it starts off like just about armor, like the character Armor, and like I'm like, why is this Ultimate X-Men? And it was a little bit hard to swallow, but now that we're in issue 7, they're getting the team together, and that's what I need, because like up until this point they haven't. And so, because I'm like, what's the point of all this? Also, I don't know whether I like Peach Momoko's art for this.
I'm not gonna lie, the body in the suitcase, that one, I was like, is that a butt? But
I mean, it looked gross, which was good, but like,
yes,
I don't
no.
I think her style is too whimsical, and like,
And I think that's what I like about it.
About this book.
Yes, because it is so different than what the stuff that I typically read, and I don't read a ton of like manga, and I feel like this is like the closest thing to manga that I've ever gotten to, and so I have enjoyed the artwork quite a bit in there, in the whimsical aspect of it, just because it's just so different. But did you ever read any of her other stuff that she has done?
Demon Days and all that stuff?
Yeah.
No, again, I wasn't really a big fan of her art, but I get why.
Okay.
I get the tone she goes for. It's just not for me. It's a matter of taste.
And I think that's why I've enjoyed it. And you're not the only one where like I've heard people either love it or hate it. But again, for it to take 7 issues to get to a point where you're just now like, okay, I see what's going on. It's a lot. It's hard.
I mean,
and especially like with comic books, and you have to kind of like pick and choose what route you're going to go. And to wait 7 issues is a long time. But again, this is a book where I put that separation in between. And I take it for like a totally different concept than what I'm expecting or what I would have expected.
I like playing the game. Yeah. When it comes to adaptations, when it comes to like Ultimate Marvel, whether it's the 2000 Ultimate Marvel or this one, I love looking at the characters and being like, who are they supposed to be? Who are they like a alternate universe version of? And like, I think there is a little bit of fun that I have with this book that I can do that. Like, did you know that the Tsukishima girl, or her last name's like Tsukishima, and if I'm saying that right, you know, whatnot, but like her name means summer in Japanese. and she has an eye patch. She's supposed to be Cyclops.
Oh my gosh, shut up.
Did you not? The girl who, you know what I'm talking about? The girl who wears an eye patch?
Yeah.
And it even on one of the variant covers, she's shooting a beam out of one eye. And so,
oh my gosh.
like, she is Cyclops, and her last name is Japanese for summer. Like
I
Scott
love
Summers.
that.
You know?
I love that.
There's little things, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's like kind of like the beauty in it.
Yeah.
If anything, I feel like this is like truly, and not saying that like any of the other comics aren't art, but like because that's not true at all. But like this is like so like beautiful,
Yeah.
and so like thoughtful and intentional,
Yeah.
and like and stuff like that. That I just find it so incredibly like I don't know, different.
It's also good for the diversification of culture in comics, right?
Oh, absolutely.
They do things at the end like explain certain Japanese customs in the
Yes.
in the back, you know? And it's like, okay, cool. It's growing on me, but I still I won't change my reviews of the first however many issues. I still think it was a waste of time in the first 3-4 issues. Like, I wish I just jumped in on issue 5.
No, I could see that,
Yeah.
but no, I've enjoyed it. I thought I think it's been fun, and
Yeah.
this is one where I would like to go back and reread, like when they all come out from start to finish.
Yeah. Yeah. For the sake of time, we're gonna power through. Tell me about Venom War Venomous #2.
Okay, this it's okay.
Okay.
If you
You want to
like,
just move on?
No, it's fine. If you like Black Widow, then definitely check it out. And we also have a Sliver and Flash Thompson in here. So I love Flash Thompson, and we see him as Anti-Venom. And that part has been a lot of fun. Again, hasn't been my favorite, but it's been a lot of fun. I will say this is a fun read. So I've enjoyed their connection, and I love Flash Thompson. So I thought this was fun.
All right.
It's okay. Yeah.
Cool.
We're
gonna rush through everything. So Spider-Man Black Suit Blood #2.
I've loved this one. This is almost like a what if series. And so it has different stories in here. So just like the other like Black, White, and Blood series that we have. It's if Spider-Man had his like black suit and some of his adventures that he had in his black suit, which I love Spider-Man in his black suit. So this series has been incredible.
Awesome. Cool. I didn't get to X-Men #4, but who did? Was it just Ambrosha?
I did. I read half of it. I didn't finish the other half.
Okay.
But I've enjoyed this series so far.
Yeah, it's good.
Have you liked it?
Yeah. I'm just a little sad because I feel like some of these X-Men titles are playing it safe. And some of them are like gunning it, right? Which is great. But like some of them, I feel like Marvel is being like, oh, this needs to be the title like people can just hop in on and they don't have to know much. And you don't have to like think too much. I'm like, all right, that's fine. All right.
And maybe like, and I don't know. And it could be because so many people fell off of like everything that has just happened over like the past 4 years, 5 years, that they are trying to make it more user friendly for readers to jump in and get connected to those characters again. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or palatable.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Really quick as we close this up, Avengers 18. Storm is like kind of an Avenger now. And so like that's why I've been like really invested in the Avengers as of the last couple of issues. It's a good book. This issue was a good issue. I can't complain, but that's also they're showing Storm respect, you know?
Okay.
So like I think if I'm remembering this correctly, she has a scene with Cyclops, and Cyclops is like, "Well, I hoped you would have come back to the X-Men," and then she was like, "Do you really think that like you and I can both be team leaders on a team anymore? Like we're both like above that, you know? And so instead, she's gonna like be on quote unquote Earth's Mightiest Heroes. But it kind of disrespects X-Men a little bit, but it is what it is. It's fine. Whatever. And then Dark Knights of Steel All Winter #3. I went into this series thinking it was a sequel to Dark Knights of Steel, but it seems like it's a spin-off. And I like it. It's good. I can't complain. It's like Dungeons and Dragons meets DC, you know?
Okay.
So, yeah, that's what Dark Knights of Steel was. It's like a medieval Game of Thrones meets DC.
I heard
That's
Dark
awesome.
Knights of Steel was good. I
Yeah.
still haven't read it.
I read like the first couple issues of it.
It's fun. It's like definitely a fun book. I personally like, and it came out around the same time, DC versus Vampires. I liked that one better than Dark Knights of Steel. But you know, they're both good. I need to get it. They had 12 issues of Dark Knights of Steel. I need to get it in trade or hardcover or something. But anyway, I think that's all the books that we read this week. I think we covered everything.
Great.
I want to thank both of you so much for coming on the show and taking time out of your day to talk about the comics that you read. You guys regret your decision?
Never.
To what? Be on the show?
To be on the show? Okay. Thank you, both of you. Before we get going, though, Maggie, where can we find you? What do you got coming up? Anything you want to plug?
You can find me on all social media at Vegan Superkick. And you can also find me at my brand new 6,000 square foot Toy Vomit location on October 25th. We're opening up a brand new toy store. Gonna have comics there too.
What city?
What? Oh, in Lexington, Kentucky. Sorry, that would be helpful.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
That's good. That's good to know.
Find me, you can shop there.
Okay.
But that's all I have going on.
All right. Cool. I mean, those are big things.
Yes, that's amazing. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank
Congrats.
you. We're really excited.
That's amazing.
Can you make like life-size cardboard cutouts of us
No.
Oh yes,
I don't.
please do that.
to put it in the store? Every game store, comic store needs like life-size cutouts.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. I know how to do them now.
Oh.
So
I learned how to.
Oh my God. Oh, I'm gonna knock everything over. Hang on. I have an action figure of my husband that somebody made. And I think that we should turn it into, we want to make it like a big life-size thing and put it in the store.
my
somewhere.
You
gosh.
should.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Somebody made this.
What's
Isn't
the
that amazing?
mask? It's like a bear?
No, it's a gold tiger lucha mask. He doesn't show his
Is
face
he-
online.
Is he a
but
wrestler?
He was, and then we opened the store and he didn't have time. So,
Oh my gosh.
but we love
awesome.
wrestling. So he wears a little gold tiger lucha mask. But yeah, how fun.
That's
Anyway,
awesome.
Yeah. Definitely need a life-size cutout.
gonna have to work on that for sure.
Yeah. Ambrosia, where can we find you?
Hi. You can find me at on TikTok at Comics and Cupcakes and on Instagram at Ambrosia_Linda.
Why not do comics and cupcakes for Instagram too?
I had one, and then I realized that I was just posting, like I was doing a lot of overlap,
Yeah.
and so I just combined, and so I kept Ambrosia_Linda.
You need brand synergy, you know? You keep
Yeah.
that same username across, you know.
I know, because you
everything.
guys are amazing at that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man.
I got on everybody's
I don't know.
case about it. I'm just
You did.
I
remember that.
Yeah. Michael Mead when he was on the show, because he also has a shop of his own. So that's why.
Oh my gosh, yes, he hasn't been on the show in a hot second.
Yeah, because he has his own shop, so you know he
Oh
can't
my
do
goodness.
Thursdays. But like, I got on his case but he didn't change. But then I got on Aaron's case because Aaron was King Krakoa, and so like, but his was different on different platforms, and I'm like, you gotta do the same for everything. Just make it easier. But
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm a big stickler on that. But
I love that.
I'm super thankful that both of you were on the show. Shout out to Curly Insane Guy and Splash Page Comics that were in our chats. If you are a fan of Comic Talk, check us out every Thursday night, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, here at twitch.tv/The Keeg Show or youtube.com/The Keeg Show. If you're watching the live stream, you saw everything, or, maybe you were listening to the podcast wherever you get your podcasts from. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, whatever podcast platform you can find us at. You can find us. Talking about finding us, if you want to find us on social media, TikTok and Instagram are two biggest ones. You can find us at The Keeg Show on social media. Pretty much everywhere, Facebook, Twitter, Threads, all that good stuff, at The Keeg Show or /The Keeg Show. And patreon.com /The Keeg Show as well, if you want to give back to The Keeg. We have other shows that we do, and I'm going to be talking about all those shows, and podcasting in general at LA Comic-Con on October 6th, Sunday at 2:30 at the Podcasting 101 panel. So if you're in LA, you want to check us out, I'll be there. That's pretty much it. I think so. I think that's everything. Is that everything?
I think so.
Support your local comic shops. Yeah, just comicshoplocator.com. Find a comic shop near you, and support your local public libraries, because that's also a big thing. That's pretty much it. A lot of cool stuff to come, so definitely stay tuned. Thank you, Maggie. Thank you, Ambrosha, for being on here. And once again, I'm your host, Dimithri Perera, and this has been another episode of Comic Talk for the week of September 19th, 2024. Take care, everybody. Everybody say bye.
Bye.
Super fast, gotta beat the boss and get the loot, cause it's the king, and we got geek news.